This year, I made the decision to live on my own for the first time in my life, and holy sh*! It's only been a few weeks and I'm already learning quite a bit. Hello everybody, for those who don't know me, I am Adrian Nuno. I am a Latina creative living in Chicago. I post videos every month, and so if you're new, welcome. I'm glad to have you along for the ride, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. So as the title of the video suggests, this year, for the first time ever in my life, I made the decision to have my own apartment and live on my own, which was a really big change for me. I remember for as long as I've lived, I've never lived alone. I've always been living with somebody, whether it was living at home with my parents. Even when I went to college, I couldn't afford to live on campus, so I had to commute to and from the suburbs. Even when I came to the city, I lived with my twin brother, Andrew. But as the new year began, I think we both realized, yeah, it was just time for us to live separately, and not because of anything bad, but we just felt it was the time for us to go and live separately from one another. And in early January, I made the switch from our 2-bed, 2-bath apartment to now a studio apartment. I still remember the first night that I lived here. It was such a shock of so many different feelings of like, our time as roommates is officially over. I am now living on my own for the first time in my life. And then it was like one thing after another, after another, after another. It just hit me like a massive, I don't even think a slap to the face does it justice, y'all. I think it was like a massive like wave that just came out of nowhere and just hit me right in the face, and then in the nuts, and then the stomach, and then maybe face, stomach, and nuts all at once. First night here by myself, and I was not prepared for just how strong the emotion was going to be. But I think I'm lying when I say that, because firstly, my twin brother just sent me the most incredible, lovely video in which he shared a lot of his thoughts and reflections over the past 6 years together that we were roommates. I think it's something that I just never really fully understood, just how wonderful that time in our lives were. The fact that we got to live together for 6 years, the fact that we got to share so many great memories together. We went through a pandemic together. We made a web series and a short film together. I guess I never really understood how wonderful it was until it ended. And now here I am living on my own. But more than anything, I just feel grateful and so happy that I got to live with him. I am feeling so many different emotions right now. You know, those of excitement, but also fear. As weird as this might sound, calm, but also anxious. Like, I'm literally here surrounded by boxes. This is my first night here. But nonetheless, I am excited for what's to come. I thought I would cry more in this video. I think it's because I already did a lot of crying earlier. It was a rough time. It was just one of the not so pleasant times of the year so far. As time has gone on, I've definitely become more accustomed and more comfortable with really embracing living alone. And so it was a change in my life that just had to happen. And along the way, I've learned a few things that I'd like to share with you all today. And so if you are in the position where you're living alone for the first time, here's a few things you might need to know. Number one, budgeting. Like, it continues to boggle my mind just how many things I am now responsible for. I thought I had them all taken care of, accounted for, and yet there are so many other things popping up every single day. And so I would definitely say, if you haven't already, try to keep an account of your budgeting, whether it's rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, if you have a car, or if you're like me and you don't have a car and you pay for Ubers, Lyfts, taking the subway or the bus. Take note of all of that. And I'm not saying you have to like go so crazy to like account for every single dollar, but just keep in mind a good range of how much you spend in these categories. And then I also set aside a little bit of money on the side for what I call like just guilt-free spending, an amount of money that I can spend this much every month and not have to worry about spending this money, because this money is meant to be spent on whatever I want. I also put a cushion of around $300 for like miscellaneous / hidden expenses that maybe I didn't account for. If you would like more information on how I go about budgeting for solo living, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll do a separate video on that. And then let's talk about the second thing, which is maintenance and chores and all that stuff that I was so used to doing with a roommate, with somebody else, and now it's like, you gotta do all this yourself now. Whether it's cleaning, whether it's getting groceries. Like, I was so used to getting groceries and then splitting the cost with Andrew, and now it's like, you are taking care of this all yourself. I will say though, the fact that I'm living in a studio does help a lot with keeping things more cleanly, and my hope is that as I continue to get through the boxes that I'm still unpacking, this place will look better and better and better. It's getting better, but it's not quite there yet. That was another big thing for me. Be prepared for just how much more time you're going to have to devote to doing all those things. And then the last thing, and this one definitely hit me harder than I was expecting, is loneliness. I did not really fully realize just how much being alone was really going to take a toll on me. What definitely helped me with the loneliness throughout the past several weeks of living here was a few things. One, reaching out. Reaching out to my parents or my brothers or a friend and just chatting, that helped immensely. Just getting on the phone, talking with them, and even just sharing those thoughts of, I'm feeling a bit lonely, and they were really, really helpful with just helping me process these feelings, affirm my feelings that, what you're going through is valid. You're not alone, because they also shared like their own experiences, what it was like living on their own. But I would also just say getting out of the apartment as well was also really nice. Just getting out and being a part of the world around me, going for a walk or making a plan to meet with a friend and getting on the subway or getting on the bus. And then the last thing I would say is finding hobbies, really taking the time to just reflect on your life, on your goals, where are you now? So I've been doing a lot of meditation, I've been doing a lot of journaling, I've been doing a lot of inner work in the time that I now have to myself. And I think I've mentioned this maybe on a podcast episode of my podcast, Transformation Talks, I do with my twin brother Andrew, which I guess also, shameless plug, if you want to check out the first season, link to that will be below. But in the podcast episode, I talk about it in a way where I reframe living by yourself as living with yourself and getting to know yourself better and getting to know your wants, your desires, what you like, what you don't like. And being with yourself really gives you the time to think through all of that a lot more in a way that I never really had to think about before until I got to be in this position that I'm in. And so someone's texting me. It's Andrew. Hi, Andrew. I am putting focus on do not disturb. There we go. So whether it's making a plan to reach out to someone for a video chat, a phone call, or getting out of your apartment, getting out into the world around you, or just doing a lot of work on yourself, I think those are things that have really helped me with combating and going about and processing loneliness, especially in this next chapter of my life. And so, those are the 3 thoughts I wanted to share today in regards to if you're living alone for the first time in your life. Those are the 3 big things that you will likely deal with, and likely many other things that I did not mention, but I know those were the big 3 for me that I worked through and am getting better at every day. But this is definitely such a drastic change for me in my life. I am very curious to see where it's going to go next, and how this first full year living by myself will go, but I am very thankful for the community I have in my life, for the people I have in my life, and I am so excited for where this journey will take me. So that is all I have for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe for more videos. I post videos every single month. And if you want to check out my intro video where I talk about my vision for this channel and what I plan to post and why I made this channel, you can check that out right here. But until then, everyone, have a great week, have a great day, be safe, be happy, be well, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, all.